Hi, everybody, and welcome. In this series, we're building a web platform for kidney patients from the ground up so they can transplant faster by multi-listing. And in this series, we'll be showing you via screen share the community questions we get from our FAQs, our DMs, and comments on our social media posts so we can deliver immediate value. And it as well helps us hone in on what matters the most to patients and get bumped up in the feed. After the Q&A, I'll then go into our platform and show the stats and how many people we actually helped this past week and how we're growing. Lastly, I'll do some building in public where I'll share what we're working on, what our current model is, and what's next to come. This is my main channel where we will have our business updates, but you can also find us, Jacob Bluestein and Transplant Coach, across TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube Shorts. Sound good? Let's dive in. A couple of questions we've gotten this past week, and we get them often, either from our booked calls when people come to our main page, transplantcoach.com. They can book a call with us if they'd like help multi-listing. Or from our social media posts. We get messages and DMs, we get comments, things like that. Two very common questions. One is, will multi-listing at a different hospital in a different state affect my current one? So if I'm listed in Buffalo or Pittsburgh or San Francisco and I go to multi-list, either using the free resources on the website or using our paid option where we just do it for you, will it affect my listing? And the answer is no, it will not. However, the caveat is it's not helpful typically to multi-list within the same town, in the same city. It's not usually that helpful because oftentimes these hospitals are sharing the same supply. Now, the wait time can still change based on the risk tolerance of the hospital, which patients they'll take, which ones they won't, but generally people multi-list outside of the region where they live. That's number one. And number two is the quality question of how do I know if the quality of my organ transplant is going to change if I go to a different city? Because I'm comfortable. I like my staff. I like my nephrologist. I like my transplant surgeon. The only problem is they're never going to give me a kidney because I'm in one of these red dots here where I'm going to wait 5 years, 10, 11 years sometimes. So it's just not going to work. Well, I'll say two things. And of course, disclaim that I'm not a medical doctor. This is not medical advice. This is what we've seen in the last 3 years of working with patients and my own experience as a kidney transplant recipient. The srtr.org website does a deep dive on quality outcomes by hospital, which maybe we'll do a breakdown on that in another video. So you can go in and you can see the graft survival rate of patients who go to that hospital. The caveat we recommend and suggest to patients, though, who book calls with us, is each kidney is technically scored individually on a KDPI ratio, 0 to 100. And so it's always important to do your research on the quality outcomes in general. It's important if you're going to multi-list that you will have to meet with the transplant team. And when you do so, you get a feel for the team, if you even feel comfortable with the surgeon, with the transplant nephrologist. That's one piece. And the second is the individual scoring of kidneys can sometimes skew a bad quality perception if you look at a hospital overall. Because let's say hospital A is willing to take on riskier patients with comorbidities, other problems, but they're willing to transplant them anyway, and they're also willing to transplant higher risk organs, which is great because we're still allocating a very low supply, scarce resource of kidneys to people who need it. But some people may not need a kidney to last them 20 years based on their health profile. So the overall data of that hospital may skew slightly more risk as compared to other hospitals. But given each organ offer is individualized and has its own individual scoring, it's important to take that into account when you're asking about the quality. And these are conversations that you'll have with your nephrologist or your transplant team in much more depth. But that's how we typically answer that question. Now, jumping over to what did we do last week, right? What are we working on? And I love doing these videos because it's partially for my own sanity to say, here's let's stay focused on what we're working on, and two, it gives caregivers, healthcare professionals, potential customers or users the ability to see under the hood and why we're doing what we're doing. Okay. So we track our social media work in beacons. It's like a link in bio. And since we started posting 1 minute or less short form content, where we'll just say, hey, if you're on dialysis, have you looked into transplantation as an option? Or, hey, here's what multi-listing is. Here's examples of patients or customers who have used the service and what were their results. And in the last month or so of doing it, I've gotten about 25,000 views, a little over 400 followers, which is really cool. And we're going to continue to do that. 3 of these short form videos per day across the major platforms until eventually we can do more. So all of the social media is based on, all of our marketing content, quote unquote, is all based on our website here. We call this a lead magnet. And this is our favorite tool. We get complimented all the time on it, even from other healthcare professionals who work with kidney patients. We just want to package this up in a map view or grid view and push it out to the world to say, hey, multi-listing could be an option for you. Because so often we meet people every day who simply don't know this is even an option for them. They get diagnosed with kidney failure. They get assigned, if their GFR is at a certain point, to dialysis, and they sort of accept their fate. And to be clear, not everyone is a good fit for transplantation, but many are. And we know this because we've helped over 100 people use the service and multi-list, saving 4.7 years on average across those 100 people, which is pretty cool. So our marketing is a lot of organic stuff. We get a ton of referrals from dialysis workers, social workers, nephrologists, other doctors, and transplant teams who want what's best for their patients. And if they know they live in an area like, love San Francisco, but if they live in an area like San Francisco, patients are they're in trouble. The mortality rate is quite high on dialysis, especially past the 3 to 5 year mark, and they're in trouble. And most of them don't even know that they can fly an hour or two to any of these green dots and get a kidney in 1/10 of the time. It's remarkable. This is what I did personally, and my co-founder and Transplant Coach. We both lived in high-weight areas, New York and DC, and we multi-listed. So that's what this all comes from, is we want other people to have access to it. Okay, so this past week, we started doing paid advertising on Google, where we just do search terms of, need a kidney fast, transplant wait lists, and so we just started serving people with Google ads. And on the next video, I'll be able to show you guys the full breakdown of, because we will have the numbers, but we're running an ad budget similar to what we did a year ago when we went through this exercise. And we spent a little less, about $800 last year to run these ads. And we had people come to the website and book a call. We had about 50 50 of them, 50, 55 calls, which was excellent. It was great. We ended up taking a break from ads because we wanted to focus on cleaning up the product and getting more organic traffic, but still really good. So I'm really optimistic. I'm really excited. And then we have the extra little boost from the people on TikTok who comment, yep, send me the map, show me the map, right? And so we just send them to the homepage. More to come on that. Now, I didn't intend on doing this for my first video, but it's interesting. We hit a bit of a new milestone as a company. And before I go over that milestone, I'll share a little bit about the model of how we built this thing. So it's pretty straightforward. Every patient, every customer who uses our platform without paying a penny has access to the tools to multi-list. Now, I can come here, I can look at the map. If I'm in a high weight area, I can see where the green dots are, I can see where these hospitals are, and I can go through, I can reach out to each hospital manually. Now, that's not fun. I don't know, for those of you who've ever tried to call a hospital, it's very difficult. You can fill out their transplant applications by snail mail. Some of them have PDFs, and they're all different. But you can go through that work, and we are happy as a clam to see people do that. It happens of the people I talk to, maybe 10% of the time, they'll go off and do that. And if they can, great. And sometimes they'll go off and do it themselves, and they'll get frustrated, and they'll say, actually, you guys do it for us. I don't want to deal with it. So money is not a barrier to any person in America multi-listing. That's our core value belief. Now, how do we make money? Well, if this is the Planet Fitness, this is the gym membership here. If you want personal training, then you got to pay for it. So what took me months to do when I was multi-listing, we've compressed into 1 hour, into a 60-minute live Zoom call where you meet with us and we go through one application that we've built, our software here, and we've coded all of the hospitals in America, every single one, where our simple application can be used for as many hospitals as you need to apply to until you're successfully multi-listed. Now that takes us about an hour. We do it with you, we do it for you on a screen share and a video call, and then we as well discuss which hospitals make sense to you, which is a combination of 3 things. One is your logistics, how far you're willing to travel. 2 is the wait time itself, how fast you want to receive the kidney. And the 3rd is your insurance coverage. And we get this question a lot as well of, well, what if my insurance doesn't cover it? It's like, well, our suggestion is typically to reverse engineer the insurance, where we focus on which hospitals do you want to go to, let's get your application done and submitted, and then we can back into the insurance either by enrolling in a different plan, or by choosing a combination of hospitals that are maybe in network and some that aren't, just to make sure you're covered. So that's the model. And we offer a premium tier where I do it for you, I do it with you, or someone on the team does. And then we offer a higher tier, which is dedicated one-on-one nursing. Someone to be there with you when you physically go for the evaluation, someone to call 24/7 if you have any medical questions. As hands-on as it could get. If I could physically go and meet our customers and go with them to all of their visits all the way through listing today and through transplant and then through fistula removal, if they decide they want to do that a couple months later, I would love to do that. There isn't enough of me to do that, but that's our sort of higher tiered offer. And that's the model. And because my partner is a web developer, our overhead is pretty low. So we're able to keep the platform going. And when people choose to have the done for you option, then we can reinvest the money in improving the product. All right. Now, lastly, I want to end this update. We'll blur this out. I don't want anyone to get shade, but we hit a milestone, and that is after a month of putting out content, we started to receive. I received a couple messages today of really a couple people accusing us of fraud. I'm debating if I should show it on here or not. We'll have to highlight it out, but really, really nasty, awful things to us. And we'll blur out the swear words. They see a video of me saying, hey guys, you can reduce your wait time by multi-listing. Check us out for a free map. And it's like, wow, we've gotten enough visibility in just 1 month where we're already starting to attract some negative attention, which is, negative attention is still attention. And I'm not sure how we'll respond to this, but either way, on our website, you can see in our success stories, our testimonials, there's no shortage of people who have had life-changing experiences. I get pictures from patients who have had their transplant saying thank you, thank you, thank you. So that's what we're working on. They're growing pains in a way, but I'm so grateful for them because we've got ads up and running, we've got social media going, and we're going to just stay steady for now. I want to do more Q&A. Maybe we'll do a live one at some point. But we're going to stay this course through at least the next week, and then we'll revisit, and we'll focus really heavily on ads, simply because there's such a big population of kidney disease patients. Over 500,000 of them on dialysis alone. So we just want to get the word out as quickly as possible. And it's been a crazy journey for us. We've been working on this my partner started working on this a decade ago, and I came on board about 2.5 years ago. And so we're excited, and maybe someday we'll be able to do the same thing for other organs as well. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching.